And welcome back, everybody, to the TV show. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by Rhea Hughes. Rhea, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I want to say to Rhea first, before we do anything, thank you for yesterday. Rhea mentored my 8-year-old daughter, and now my 8-year-old daughter wants to go into the world of broadcasting, which I think is great. No problems for women in the broadcasting industry, right, Rhea? So it should be good. Also joined by the author of Loud, Angelo, now available on audiobook, which is the best way to experience the book, if you ask me. Have Angelo read to you in his voice his own story. If you care anything about radio and the history of it, check out Angelo Cataldi's book at Amazon, Audible, or wherever you get fine books.
I gotta say, Jay, you do this a lot because you write scripts and then they edit them and stuff. Editing is a remarkable art. Yeah. They took 16 hours of gibberish by me and turned it into 10 hours of actual audio. Editing can do a lot. It covers many, many flaws and problems. And
yes, it does.
I'm getting good response to the audiobook. Check it out. I think you really like it.
I'll just say a little thing because I'm a nerd. Star Wars by George Lucas. The original cut was 3 hours long and a disaster. An absolute disaster. People were walking out of that going, I don't know what that is. And then George Lucas's wife, Marsha Lucas, who everyone had a crush on and who left George for a contractor who came in to build a new study for them, said, all right, George, leave. Let me put this together. Took out an hour of George Lucas nonsense and made a hit. Marsha Lucas is the unsung hero of Star Wars, and Lucas gets all the credit, but his wife deserves all the accolades on that. So Marsha Lucas, everybody.
Residuals too, because if she really saved the movie, she should be getting a lot of checks.
I think she got a lot of George's estate when she left. That's why George owned Pixar and sold it to Steve Jobs to pay for his divorce. That's a little secondary thought. Yeah. So that's another 4 or 5 billion George lost out on. Anyhow, let's start the show. This is a sports related thing, but I think more and more when I talk about sports on this show, we are talking about programming decisions, not play decisions, right? Because the idea is the NFL is not a sports league. It is a programming content deliverer. And their job is to create for people a more entertaining product. The rules committee met this week. They made 2 major changes. One was the elimination of the hip tackle. The other was a change in the way kickoffs work. I'm on Twitter all the time. Rhea, you know this. I waste my life on Twitter.
Yes, you do. I enjoy it.
The Twitterati were up in arms saying this is destroying the game. I wanted to get your take on this because you guys are sports experts, but you're also TV experts. I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing if the job is to create better offense, right? And a better product. Angelo, you disagree.
Get him, Ange. Get him.
All right, here's what they're doing. And again, at the NFL, Roger Goodell keeps tempting the fans to dislike his product.
Right.
So they keep wussifying it with new rules. So now you take the body of a guy with the ball in his hands, right? You can't hit him high because that's helmet to helmet CTE. You can't grab him by the horse collar because you could hurt his neck or his back. So that's out. You can't hit him at the knees because that's targeting. You can't get him from the side because that's called a block. It's there's a block. I can't remember the term.
Chop block.
And now you can't get him in the middle because of his hip. All right, Jay, how the hell are you going to tackle a guy?
No, you get him by the toe. That's it.
If that happens, Rhea, they'll make that illegal. Jay, how are you going to tackle him?
Well, see, here's the thing, Angelo. I don't know if it matters. Do you think, honestly, if there were games that started to get 40-30, 50-45, whatever, insane scores, are people going to complain about high scoring games? Do people like it when it's a 7-0 slog in the defense? I don't know if they do. Do you like pitching duels? I think the purists do, but they prefer home runs.
Jay, I can answer this for you, and I can hearken you back to the Eagles Super Bowl. If Tom Brady completes that pass to Gronkowski in the end zone, Jim Schwartz is bigger enemy than Jonathan Gannon because it's the only Super Bowl where I think Tom Brady set a record for the amount of yards that he completed. Like, what, Ange, was it 600? Was that what it was?
613 total offensive yards.
Yeah, I mean, we would have hated the outcome of that Super Bowl. Here's the problem. Yes, I'm okay with making the kickoff relevant again, because at this point, when it's a kickoff, bathroom time for me, or time to go get a drink. The tackle thing, I watched the videos they put out as illustrations. Those are tackles, okay? So now you're going to tell me in games, a guy, we all know what an illegal tackle is. We're aware of it. Now you're going to be putting games in the hands of officials where your player makes a great defensive play towards the end of a game. Boom, hip drop tackle, that's out.
Yeah, I want to build on the scenario you just said. Let's take that iconic play, the strip of Brady in that game, all right? Let's say, as Brandon Graham was stripping the ball, he grabbed Brady by the hip.
Yeah.
Dislodged the ball. Eagles recover it. They're going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Flag comes out.
Yep.
Hip tackle. Patriots get the ball 15 yards. Yep. You can't make it so impossible to tackle the guy with the ball that it becomes a frustration for the fans. Jay, they're begging people. You know what it is? They're afraid of the violence in their game.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Violence in their game is what made it appealing. At some point, you got to stop worrying about hurting the players. They're playing football as their own decision.
Right.
And they're going to get hurt no matter what you do. So deal with it. This is absurd. They keep pushing it to see how far the fields go. At some point, it's going to become a frustration. They're going to lose viewers. I don't know when, but it's going to happen.
I'll be interested, because I just fundamentally feel that more offense equates to better ratings in the short term. Maybe in the long term, it doesn't.
Yeah, Jay, you're right, but this is what they're concerned about. The scoring did drop this year, but it was really minimal. I think it was something like 24 points to 21. Yes, scoring was down. They don't have enough good quarterbacks. That's the reason scoring is down.
Right.
And it's not about scoring, Jay. It's about justice. If the fan base thinks they got screwed on a stupid rule, they're going to not care what the final score was. Ultimately, the fan wants to know at the end of the game, his team won or it lost, and there's no other, extenuating circumstances. This is bad, and it will come back to bite them. I guarantee you this will not last. This one won't last, because they'll back off it. Maybe they just won't call it after a while.
Yeah.
Right.
When you see some of these calls and the reaction of the fan base, they're not going to like the hip thing at all. I promise you that.
All right. I've been working on my transitions. Watch this. You know what also isn't going to last, guys? Bupkis, the show that Pete Davidson has on Peacock. It's only show 82. I should learn how to broadcast eventually. Here's the thing. Pete Davidson, we all hate that show. Literally everybody that I know that has seen it, I've even talked to people who've been in it, I won't mention names, who know that show was not good. But it got a lot of ratings, and Peacock renewed it, right? So and I sent you the article. Pete Davidson, in kind of what I think is a classless move, said, I don't want to do the second season, which, okay, creatively, he shouldn't have done the second season, but he didn't even tell the production company, except through the trades. That's the rumor anyway, that he made the decision, told the press, and Broadway Video had to find out about it. Lorne Michaels' company. Lorne Michaels, known for being a chill, cool guy that never gets upset at anybody for betraying him. The two questions I have about this are, one, does he have an obligation to all the people that work on that show that has been renewed in a ever shrinking market to give them the work? And two, did he handle this in the correct way? Rhea, what do you think about that?
No, clearly he didn't handle it in the correct way, because, you being like, listen, I've known for 5 years Angelo was going to retire. I just kept dragging him back for another year. So, Angelo never lied about it. He was very open. He wanted to retire. But here's the problem is, you're getting in bed with Pete Davidson. You know that every day could bring a different story.
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm out, I'm up, I'm down. he's just not unfortunately a stable person. That's comes with a lot of issues with him. And I feel bad for the production company, but if you thought Davidson was going to run a show for 10 years and it was going to last, I think you're sadly mistaken.
Fair enough.
Furthermore, hold on. This idea that I should feel bad for the people, I may feel bad for the production people, the people that aren't getting the big money. The people in front of the camera I have absolutely no sympathy for.
No.
Edie Falco read the script to the pilot. She knew what was going to happen to her in the first scene. Shame on her for taking that role. Joe Pesci came out of retirement for that steaming pile of crap, right? Hey, Edie Falco, when she found out Davidson didn't want to do it, heaved a deep sigh of relief she didn't have to do that again. And Joe Pesci got out his golf clubs and said, that's the last time I'm coming back. The hell with him. As for Pete Davidson, I would like to believe this is the beginning of a long downward trend. He has never had any talent. He has never been funny for 1 second. And it is time now that it comes home to roost, that I don't say nothing, I don't do nothing, but I get all this money. I hope it's over. Because he stinks. Pete, give it up. You stink.
I think the term that Rhea used was getting in bed with Pete Davidson, which to any starlet out there, avoid at all costs.
Happen a lot.
Yeah, Angela, I was speaking specifically towards the people that run the sound, that do the editing, the below the line people. This is an industry that does not renew things easily anymore. It's not like the old days where you get 20 million viewers and you stay on the air for 100 years. So I think he just, at least to me, owed it at least to give it another try, or at least to handle it in a different way. I don't know. I just want to say this to anybody that's listening. If you give me a show, I promise to run it into the ground. I will go 12 years.
Yes. Hold on.
Yeah.
I know the show. Paulie. Where are you people? It's awesome.
And I tell you what, you know how the Flintstones had the great Gazoo show up, and I'll have a little green alien in season 12 of Paulie. He'll have twins. Doesn't matter. I will do whatever it takes to stay on the air.
Season 12. Could we get the pilot first, Jack? Could we maybe get somebody to buy that?
That would be nice.
Season 12?
Go to my YouTube right now. It's up. All right. So there's a show that is trying to get season 3 off the ground right now, called Euphoria. I must confess, I never watched this show. It seemed to me like you have to be on drugs and Gen Z to enjoy it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Euphoria, the problem that they're running into is that they have 2 legitimate movie stars on that have been brought out from them, with 2 more that look like they're poised for legitimate movie stardom. They got Zendaya and Sydney Sweeney. Both of them are stars. Zendaya is A-list all the way. Sydney Sweeney, it'll be interesting to see if she makes the A-list, but she's a movie star. They got Jacob Elordi, who was in that awful movie. What was it called?
Oh, it was bad. I don't remember.
Not Salt.
Salt. He was in Salt, right?
Salt. Okay.
He was in Salt.
It was bad. Oh, that's a bad movie. Oh.
And they got Hunter Schafer.
He was good in it.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He's good.
And they got Hunter Schafer. So that's 4 movie stars. And the problem that they're going to run into is, how do you get 4 movie stars back to do a little HBO show? A little difficult. I don't know if that'll happen, but I was thinking, has there ever been a show that has produced more movie stars than Euphoria, this little show on HBO? I mean, not other, Cheers produced Ted Danson, right? And he's a great TV star. Never made it as a movie star. Woody Harrelson made it as a movie star. That was it, right? Cheers, this huge show. Euphoria, tiny little show, creates this gigantic 2 stars, and with 2 more on the way. Rhea, you said you had a good one. What's your
I do. I actually did a little research. Growing Pains. Remember the TV show Growing Pains?
Yeah, okay.
They list 19 who went on to become movie stars. Let me give you a couple of names. Leonardo DiCaprio.
Heard of him.
Brad Pitt. Hilary Swank. I know Heather Graham was in. I mean, but those were like the 3 massive. I mean, Hilary Swank has won 2 Oscars. So I mean, it's basically. But then there was another TV show I didn't really think about, but I think like every single one of them went on to be stars. Taxi,
Oh yeah,
Ted
okay.
Danza,
Yeah.
yeah, who's the little guy? Danny
Danny
DeVito,
DeVito, yeah.
Marilu Henner. I mean, there's everyone on that show basically. Judd Hirsch, all went up. But I think the Growing Pains ones with Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt was pretty big.
That's
Well,
huge.
that Rhea covered that perfectly. I just want to say, I hate Euphoria, which I've never seen, because it spawned The Idol, which is one of the
God.
shows.
Yeah.
The Idol and Bupkis last year were the two worst shows, and I'm not sure which was the worst of the two. But that guy, Sam Levinson, I believe, is the guy. And that guy is talentless. So I won't watch this. I will say this. Zendaya was a star before this.
Yeah.
Zendaya's been in the Spider-Man movie. She's already a star. This didn't make her a star. All right. Elordi is so good looking. There's almost no chance he can't be a star. The fact that he can act at all. And Sydney Sweeney. All right. I would like to make a comment about her. All right.
Hold on. Should I duck?
Is incredibly talented. She totally carried a movie called Anyone But You.
Anyone But You, yeah.
Anyone But You. Really good in that. And she killed it on SNL. And Sydney Sweeney is double-breastedly bringing back cleavage to American TV. Say bravo to that.
Yeah. And I want to say Immaculate, which is a movie that she just starred in, and it did very well. She was signed up for that 10 years ago, and it didn't go through. She retained the rights to it, and when her star got big enough, she produced that movie.
Wow.
And she's following in the footsteps of Barbie. What's her name?
Margot Kidder.
Not Margot Kidder, which would be awesome if she were Barbie. Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. I love this idea that stars who also produce their own vehicles and have success with it. So yeah, she's fantastic. And yes, double-breasted Angelo. Thank you. Thank you for that. My son said, I like Sydney Sweeney. And I was like, you do? I'm shocked. I'm shocked. And he's, oh, you noticed too, Dad. All right, so let's switch to America's favorite segment.
Yes.
Rhea Hughes coming in with a discussion of Great Britain TV shows, but also basically the British Isles. Australia gets in there, Ireland.
Well, I'm glad that you kind of went there, Jay, because this is actually Scottish. So it's in plain sight. I have gone by this show hundreds of times because I thought it was a TV show based in the 50s. But I was really bored over the weekend, and I said, let me just see what this is. So it's called In Plain Sight. It's available on Prime. Only 3 episodes. Each episode is 45 minutes. So it's based on a true story of trying to convict Scotland's first known serial murder. And I purposely said convict because not catch. They knew who it was. So Detective Bill Munsey knew Peter Manuel was behind the murder of 8 locals. This included 2 families, mother, father, young son, a mom, a daughter, and the mom's sister. So the murderer in this, Peter Manuel, they knew he had been getting arrested since he was a teenager. He'd been thrown in jail for 9 years for sexual assault of women, got out, and went on a murder spree. But the problem is, this was the 1950s. The only thing they had to use were fingerprints. And he always wore gloves. And the other bad thing was his family, specifically his father, always gave him an alibi. It's a remarkable story. Peter Manuel is a complete psychopath, and he's played amazingly well by Martin Compston. The leader in this, the detective, people will know from Shetland, another well-known Scottish detective series. But this was a remarkable story about how much DNA could have saved 8 people from being murdered. But we didn't have it in the 1950s. It's a really well-done story. I liked it a lot.
Very nice. And I always hate those fathers and mothers that your kid's a murderer. I love my kids too. But if my son were chopping heads off of people, I think at some point I might have to be like, I'm going to have to turn you in, buddy. I think it's wrong to do that. And speaking of our kids and not murder, what do you got for Teen Corner this week?
So this is fun because I'm pretty sure both of you guys saw this movie, and I think Jay, you liked it, and I think Angelo, you didn't. Clark and his girlfriend watched La La Land last weekend. You guys have both seen it, right? So they both love the story of Mia, played by Emma Stone, Sebastian, played by Ryan Gosling. She wants to be a famous actress. He a famous jazz musician. They love the musical aspect, the choreography. But here's where they differed: were the leads. Clark personally thought the movie was good, not great, but that Ryan Gosling made the movie 100 times better. His girlfriend, of course, said Emma Stone carried the movie, which she liked a lot more than Clark. 91% on Rotten Tomatoes, 81% by audience. So I need you, Clark, trust you guys because you guys are the TV people. Did Ryan carry the movie, Gosling, or did Emma Stone carry the movie?
I'm happy to answer that, Rhea. I felt that Emma Stone carried the first 7 minutes before I turned it off.
I love Ryan Gosling. I gotta go. I agree with Clark. Ryan Gosling. I love them both, but Ryan Gosling is my guy. He's fantastic, and he was great in that movie. And it's better than Angelo is giving credit for there.
Well, there you go. Well, that's available in a lot of streamers: Prime, Hulu, Apple. You can find
free
it
on Hulu. I looked it up. It's free right now on Hulu,
and it won the Academy Award for 38 seconds.
Yes.
Which is almost as long as some people watched it.
What do you got for us this weekend?
I got 2 documentaries, one excellent, one spectacular. The excellent one is on Peacock. It just dropped last week. Stormy, the documentary on Stormy Daniels, the woman who allegedly slept with Donald Trump. It's just self-contained, 90 minutes or so documentary. And it is really well done because people are not supposed to have any sympathy for a porn star. Oh, look what career she picked. Yeah. If you don't have sympathy for her after you see what happened to her, how the fact that she did not say no to Donald Trump in a hotel room in 2006 led to her being bankrupt, because he just threw lawyers at her until he took all her money away. And now she is stuck out there in Never Neverland. You know what? She's funny. She's smart. She's very likable. And if you watch this, you will have a different perspective, not just on Stormy Daniels, but on people who choose that line of work. Unfortunately, it kind of led to the downfall of Wingbo, but we got to meet a few people who were in the porn industry in the final years of Wingball, and I developed a whole new appreciation for what they deal with. They made a career choice, and a lot of people, a lot of society, which watches more porn now than at any point in civilization,
100%,
still looks down on those people like they're lesser human beings.
And some of those women who are Wingball, we knew for 15 to 20 years.
Yes.
And genuinely like the nicest people. Yes. And you're right. This thing about it is everybody watches it. Y'all do, you do. Stop looking down on the people who do it.
And Stormy on Peacock. The other one is just insanely great. It's been out a few months. And Rhea, again, I must apologize to you. It is a British shot. It is a British documentary. And it is called The Best Show Never Made on Amazon Prime. And it's a story in 2002 when Big Brother hit big. And as big as it hit in our country, it was even bigger in England. And this dreamer comes along and he goes, well, I'm going to do an even more spectacular version of that. I'm going to create my own reality show. And he put out an ad in the paper offering an enormous amount of money for people who are willing to give their lives up, totally move away for 1 year and live in his situation. And tons and tons of people offered to do it instantly. And he did not have a show. He did not have anything. He had no, and the people all gathered together. And this guy is one of the weirdest scam artists I've ever met. His name is, in this show, he has many names. His name is Nikita Russian.
Oh.
which should tell you it's probably not totally legit anyway.
Yeah.
Here's what's great about it, though. So all these people give up their lives. There's no show. The thing implodes. The guy is showing up to live in this little flat where they're all staying with somebody who was part of the show because he is homeless.
Oh my God.
And what happens after that, you can't believe it. They take all these people back to the flat 20 years later, and they all relive the experience. And the great twist on it, I just got to give you this part of it. Lots of those people's lives got better because of that experience.
Really?
Extraordinary story. And here's the big part of the story. The best show never made shows you better than anything I've ever seen how far people will go for a chance to get on television. They'll do anything to be a part of that reality TV world now. And these were the people who jumped in right when it started to become popular. It's a phenomenal show. The best show never made, Amazon Prime. You will love it. I promise you. Rhea, you got to check it out.
I will check it out.
3 short episodes. Yeah. And they track down the scam artist. And he reappears 20 years later. A very impressive man. Oh, no. It's a hell of a show. The best show never made. Check it out.
The Nikita Russian actually now working on the Trump campaign. A lot of people don't know that. So I have a quick review. I watched Roadhouse, the original, this weekend with my son to prep for the new one with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And I will say this. It's on Amazon Prime. It's Jake Gyllenhaal, directed by Doug Liman, who directed The Bourne Identity, Edge of Tomorrow, and a bunch of great action movies. It is a fun, good movie. I give it a B+. It is very enjoyable. If you enjoy fight scenes and a great performance from Jake Gyllenhaal, who takes a whole different energy than Patrick Swayze did. Patrick Swayze, you're never going to touch the original because the original was trying to make a serious movie and failed. Yes, and made a completely stupid movie that you can enjoy for 30 years. You can only do that once in a generation, where somebody said to Patrick Swayze, hey, how about some shirtless Tai Chi? And Patrick Swayze said, great idea. Get the cameras rolling. You can't recreate that kind of stupidity.
What's amazing about Roadhouse is that I don't know a man between the age of like 40 and 60 who doesn't absolutely revere that movie.
Great.
It's I mean, literally, you go Roadhouse, so much guys, and they do lines, they do scenes. It was a dumb, campy movie, but fun. Like, why would you redo a dumb, campy movie? But I'll check it out.
So here's what they did.
I've never seen it, but I will watch it this week to see if what you're saying is right, even though I'm not in that demographic.
I did cut it off at 60.
As my son said at the end of the original Roadhouse, Dad, was cocaine a co-producer on that movie? And the answer is yes, it was, son. Absolutely. But the remake of it does not attempt to be silly in the same way that does. It just tried to be a fun action movie. Jake Gyllenhaal is slumming in this movie, and thank God. He is a top-notch actor doing a very interesting take on a Patrick Swayze role. I love this idea of getting great actors and turning them into muscle men to do these kinds of shows instead of taking muscle men and trying to make them act. Right. Yes. So you can't go wrong I don't know, Rhea, if this will appeal to your particular sensibilities. There's a lot of blood, but Jake Gyllenhaal is absolutely ripped out of his gourd. So it's fun to look at.
That can work.
Yeah. It's great. It's very enjoyable. Solid B+. Can't touch the A+ of the original Roadhouse, but nothing can. So that's on Amazon Prime. Angelo, what did we do this week? What do we got?
All right. We talked a lot about the NFL, so I guess I'll have to give you the information if you haven't heard it. The Eagles opening game in Brazil next season will be available only on the Peacock network. So plan accordingly. You got time there, but I'm not sure it'll go local. I have a feeling this one is just exclusive.
I believe locally, Ange, they kind of have to carry it. I believe locally. That's what I believe locally it'll be on.
But more and more of these are going to be streamed. Right. You know that. Bupkis is available online, and I'm not telling you where because it's garbage. How's that? Euphoria is on Max. In Plain Sight is on Prime right now. La La Land is on Hulu, free, for example. I've got Stormy on Peacock, the best show ever made on Amazon Prime, and Roadhouse is available on Amazon Prime. Check out all that stuff.
And make sure you check out Angelo Cataldi's book, Loud, on Audible, Amazon, angelocatali.com, anywhere you get your books. And guys, we really appreciate you. We appreciate Jared Clapper. Shout out to Jared Clapper for taking care of all of our editing, production, and socials. If you enjoy this, tell somebody. All right, spread the word. We need your help to grow the podcast as always. Appreciate your time, and we will be back next week.